Chakowski, and I'm here with Chris Schwartzbauer of Shavlik Technologies. I'm talking right now about data breaches, and I wanted to ask you, Chris, the latest scoop is the Hannaford data breach, and a lot of vendors have a lot of hype about how they can help people be PCI compliant, but how can you prevent a breach from, like Hannaford, from happening?
You know, you never know exactly how you prevent it. I guess what I would say is, one of the things I've learned is if you're surfing sites that maybe aren't always the most kosher sites to go to, a lot of bad things can happen to your computer. And from some experience with friends that are kind of close to me, you maybe don't want to go to those sites unless your computer's configured right and set up right, because bad stuff comes down. I went to some sites accidentally a couple times. Bad things happen.
Accidentally, I'm sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's like told. Yeah, absolutely, accidentally I went to some sites. So you know, if systems are configured correctly, even if you accidentally go to some of those places where there's malicious code that could be downloaded, if your system's set up right, configured right, and patched against all the potential viruses or exploits that could happen, bad things are less likely to happen. And furthermore, you know, you want to put in systems like code that can stop that from happening, prevent unwanted applications from being loaded on your machine, and then in the event that something does happen, one of those sites you accidentally go to, download something, you can stop it, you can shut it off.
Yeah, so boothbabes.com, a safe experience.
Never really been to that. Good site.
I don't know, I didn't accidentally go there.
Exactly. You know, some of those sites that are less than desirable sites for corporations to have people going to, they're a great target for downloading exploits, for putting malicious code on machines, and that's really what you want to prevent. You want to put systems in place to disable unwanted software, to prevent unwanted software being loaded, set policies up to configure your systems right so that if something happens, you can detect it. And if that system does have unwanted software on it, you shut off the access to other things and don't let that be a target for exploits throughout your network.
Right.
And that's what happens. They find one machine that someone inadvertently went somewhere on, downloaded some software, and it becomes a launching point for all kinds of bad things to happen.
Right. What one thing that I like to talk about is the whole difference between compliance and security. Can you comment on, you know, the misperception about PCI being a catch-all, you know, perfect silver bullet?
Stop let's move a little bit over here. You just moved away and it was looking a little weird.
Right.
Talk a little louder.
Okay. Got it.
So wait, let's go over here because this thing is you're half in green and half not. This thing's going down. Wait, so move over a little bit that way. Sorry. Over more. This way. I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, I guess I could move the camera.
All right.
All right. All right.
You ready?
Yeah, just be conscious of, I mean, I guess I'll try to give you a signal if you start looking furious because you're getting comfortable and you're moving.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to start moving the camera because then it gets a little jarring. And I don't want to do anything that's going to make you go like, you know, what?
Yeah.
So just remember, talk a little louder, okay? Especially, just start with the compliance.
I'll start with
and
the
security.
question. All right.
And so especially if you're going to be like looking at her and talking, then make sure you're talking louder and then make sure to kind of look back. I mean, you can kind of look back and forth, but especially when you're talking at her, then you're not even like, then it's really hard to hear.
Yeah. All right. Tell me when.
When?
All right, so one of the questions that I have is about the difference between security and compliance. A lot of people have a hard time differentiating between the two, and they kind of think of PCI and other compliance measures as basically as a silver bullet.
Right.
What's your opinion on that?
It's a great question. I guess sort of the rule of thumb is you can be compliant and not secure, but if you're secure, probably you have a higher likelihood of being compliant.
Right.
Yes, PCI is maybe a better regulation than a lot of others, much like FDCC, which is the Federal Desktop Core Configuration Guide, because what it actually does is tells you ways to set up machines and systems to be secure.
Right.
Whereas a lot of the regulations that are compliance-like regulations, like Sarbanes-Oxley, give you general rules, say have a strong password policy.
Right.
Having a strong password policy, many people don't even know what that means. So PCI, FDCC, some of those things come closer to setting up security stuff. But again, as a rule, be secure, figure out what security means, what good practices are, and you're more likely to be compliant.
Excellent. Great. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Thank you.